I welcome you today to an extraordinary interview with Freya Sidanus. She is a health coach in her 80s now. And for the last decade or more, we've been in touch. I've known her for since 1996, but that's a long time already, 30 years or so. But now in the last 10 years, she's talked to me about conscious dying and preparation for the afterlife. And she comes from a Buddhist background and Buddhist Hindu mix. She's spent many years in India. And so she will be with us today in an interview about what it means to anticipate death in a positive way, to know that we are eternal beings. We will go on. Our soul continues, and if we train ourselves, we will have a beautiful transition and can be more conscious, potentially also in how we come back or where we next choose to be. But as all meditators and great sages know, it takes equal attention to that transition and care as it does to our living everyday choices. So I want to welcome Freya. Freya, thank you so much for joining us here. I am in Ibiza, you are in Sweden. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm very much welcoming you to a conversation about what it means to be consciously anticipating death, what death might bring to us, where we go, and what your thoughts are on intentional leaving the body. You have recently gone to Switzerland, and that's what I want to talk to you about as well. What did you learn as a nugget you can bring to people looking back over 80 years of life? What have you learned that you could pass on as a wisdom to us as viewers?
Well, where I am in my life right now, as I feel it, I'm in the end phase of my life after having lived consciously, or at least from the age of 30, being on the health spiritual path, focused on both physical, my body's health, as well as my spiritual enlightenment or awakening process. And as I'm now feeling that my body is really ready to let go, my body wants to come to rest. And I also feel like I'm really ready. My soul is ready to move on to the next life. And this is the most challenging time, because at the same time as taking care of an aging body with some of the symptoms of aging, and at the same time holding the vision of my next life and how I want to evolve into my next life. And it's a daily practice to I wake up in the morning and really feel like, oh, it would be wonderful to just be able to close my eyes again and breathe, have my last breath, out breath, and leaving my body. Instead of one more day, I have to take care of my body, which I do very well, as I have been a health coach during most of my life. And I'm pretty alone, even though I speak with my friends about my preparation and also my longing, my body's longing, I would say, to just come to rest instead of daily having go through the habits of feeding it, clothing it, bathroom, and all that. And at the same time, of course, I'm also having many moments in the daytime where I enjoy life. And especially now in the spring, I have a beautiful garden, so I go out into the garden and do garden work. But it is still, my body still feels like it really, really would like to come to rest. So this is my daily practice. When is the time? I'm still dealing with things that I need to complete on the earthly realm, like will, for example. I'm rewriting my will for the last time. And also I have just given my my temple away to my landlord. So I don't have to bother, or none of my friends, because I don't really have a blood family around me anymore. So it would have to be my friends who would have to take care of the after. and I don't want them to have that trouble. And I really enjoy my temple that I've created for the last 15 years since I left Hawaii, where I was living for 6 years, and we met.
Right.
And before that, I was living in California. So the other day, I spoke with my landlord, who is a man that I have, who totally understand and support conscious, what I call conscious departure, or self-chosen life completion
Hmm.
is another word that I'm just translating from Swedish, self-chosen life completion.
Okay.
And I'm also part of an organization in Sweden that is working by changing the laws that can support people in self-determination when it comes to when you want to leave your body in a
Graceful, conscious,
leaving your
intentional
body
way.
in a good way, in an
Hmm.
honorable way. It's translating it from Sweden. The, so so I'm preparing all these different tasks
Consciously choosing the
consciously
will,
for
going to Switzerland, working on a law changing aspect in Sweden for other people after you to potentially do what you are choosing or going to potentially choose. Do you have a date set for yourself, or are you waiting for that inspiration? When do you decide that you think the divine moment is? And I'm saying divine moment because I know you meditate. I know you listen to your inner guidance. It's not like I've had it, it's like, when is that? What is that? What are you looking for? What indicators would be the ones for you that say today is the day?
there is no day, but I would say within the next 2 years.
Okay.
Within the next 2 years, but I don't yet have the date because I still have to go through the process of rewriting my new will, which actually is going to be my landlord, who is a lawyer, who is going to help me with this last phase. Uh, and all this thing has been revealed to me just in the last few days when I had my meeting with him 3 days ago. So all this is kind of unfolding, and it's giving me a sense of peace that now, because I've already rewritten my will twice, and
Okay.
now I feel I've come to the final will, and that gives me a sense of peace. And
Okay.
that is very important because I've also been studying the Tibetan living and dying process since I returned to Sweden after having been gone for many, many years. And I felt like my return to Sweden had to do with me preparing my leaving this incarnation and this body. So that's what I have been very much focused on, studying the Tibetan living and dying process, which is, of course, what I have also embraced as a way to leave.
Tell us a little bit about how Tibetans who, for example, the high developed lamas, predict signs of where they will reincarnate and oftentimes are found with those markers and then are tasked to identify items from a past life, like what bowl did you use, what stick did you use, so that even though if you technically ask Buddhists, they don't quite believe in the essence of soul, but something reincarnates. So maybe they don't have total clarity, and depending on what beliefs path, the five different interpretations of the path. What do you do, or what do Tibetans do, and what are you following? What passage are you following to prepare, or how do they do it? What do they do?
Well, one of the things that I was just mentioning is very important to have your will, your what you want to leave behind you, very clear, and that you're making peace with people that you might not still have forgiven, for example. So
Beautiful.
at so all those ends in your life that hasn't yet been healed, all those relationships that hasn't yet been healed, all these practical things
Yeah.
that you want to have clear as well. And so that's the phase I'm still in. It's to make sure that that my will is something that is connected to my peace, and that is
Beautiful.
also connected to healing my relationship with my son, as one example. Before, I didn't have my son in my will, but now I have,
Oh,
for
how
example.
beautiful.
And
Yeah.
also that my landlord, since he is a lawyer, and I'm going to leave my home exactly as it is, right? So anyway, he doesn't live here himself. He has several other places where he lives, and he lives in Belgium, and he's in Spain now, and so forth. So somehow it feels like whatever I have created here as my temple will be intact when I leave. And that feels very good. And he is also in the position of contacting my son,
Okay.
and let him come here and whatever. I mean, I'm especially interested to have my son, having my son inherit my albums of photos,
Right.
because they have been, they are visions and pictures of the journey that I have made when I have not been with him.
Right. And so the completion on the physical, the completion emotionally
Yes,
with other people that are
yes,
significant or somehow in our subconscious. And that can take decades. I mean, even who you are, the viewer, do it now. Don't wait until the moments before death to clean up. Clean up as you go so that at any moment you're free. Let's take that all with us. Now, have you thought about, I mean, you feel alone. You have some friends. You're a part of a church choir. You have community around you. But like you, for example, me too, we live globally, right? We live in multiple places. You've lived in many places, may or may not have family immediately around you. How do you anticipate the ceremony to be once you leave? Does that enter the picture of your preparation?
right. Yes, what I call it, how do you want to design your departure or your death?
Mm-hmm.
And the way I like to design my departure, the last few days, whatever, is I have actually changed my plan. I'm not going to go to Switzerland. I'm actually going to leave my body here in my home,
Okay.
in my own bed, and in the familiar environment, and having some of my friends that already know that I am on this conscious dying journey,
Okay.
possibly, if they want, come and be with me. And
Oh, that's beautiful.
I want to have a warm bath, a bubble bath. I want to have maybe a glass of champagne. And I want to have my beautiful music, because every
Mm.
day I'm chanting. It's
Mm-hmm.
part of my daily medicine.
Right.
Is music,
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, and I
Mm-hmm.
chant myself and sing. So all these things that has given me pleasure and be part of my spiritual journey, I
Mm-hmm.
want that
Accompany you.
atmosphere to be filled, which already filled here in my home every day, but it will be like I don't have to take care of my body anymore.
Right.
I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. I don't all that material
Mm-hmm.
caring that I do very well and has done very well, all that is, I'm free from it. So I
Right.
can only kind of feel myself totally letting go into a very, very peaceful place, having cleansed my body,
Yeah.
having gone through colon cleansing before, having probably just gone into juices,
Mm-hmm.
drinks, and
Mm-hmm.
gradually dropping the attachment to food
Food.
and
Mm-hmm.
dropping the attachment to drink. And then I will have some I will have some medicine that I will take,
Okay.
so I can go into very deep rest and sleep
Okay.
and
So
wake up into my
in
next life.
Okay, so let's talk about what you believe. Now, you're taking care of your body. It sounds very much like soul inhabiting body. In a way, our body is our expression, but who you are is where, is what? What
One
is
more.
the essence? What is the essence of who you are? The essence of your soul. What is that which you are and which will reincarnate or move? Have you experienced it, or if you depending how you envision it, and tell us a little bit about that part
The
also
nature of
of
my
your
soul
soul.
for me
Yes.
is eternal bliss, is eternal joy, is eternal peace.
How do you know that? And how have you experienced it?
Well, I have moments when I experience it, and
Okay.
that has been part of my whole spiritual journey. And my relationship to Osho, my master, my guru, my spiritual guide,
Guide.
he's still my spiritual guide,
Okay.
uh, is is I have had very deep experiences with him, but also without him. And as I am studying and reading him every day and meditating, uh, I still can move into that stream of soul presence that is, of course, the same in all of us in reality.
Do
So
you
that
feel the same as in all of us, or is there you who is specifically you in your frequency signature that reincarnates, or like the Buddhists believe, it's more like becomes the field and the field rearranges itself and then shows up in
I
form?
don't I don't know that. I
Okay.
will know that when I have made the transition.
Okay.
I will know that
Yeah.
when I have left my body and I've entered into my next
Stage.
phase.
Phase.
And
Yes.
my wish is to not come back to the earth.
Really? Why not?
As I think there's too much human bodies on the planet.
Too many people.
Too many. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I
Yes.
would like to move on.
Okay.
I would
Where would
like to
you
evolve
like? Where would you
into
go?
another. Well, I have sent you some of the picture. One of the vision that I'm holding is that I'm entering into a sangha, a community, a spiritual community of light.
Right.
And the circles that I sent to you on the messenger, the images,
Yes.
that is my deepest and sweetest vision and dream.
Okay.
Because I have felt, not all the time, but I felt so much, and especially in Sweden, very different and separate from people's consciousness here.
Okay.
So I'm going through and have gone through since I returned to Sweden, and which was one of the reasons I think why I left. I wasn't really home in the Swedish culture.
Right.
I was different, and I felt more home. Yes, there you
I'm
go.
I'm going to hold up for all the viewers to see the picture you're talking about. Sangha means a group of people studying together the luminosity and being connected to the source. And that is the picture you sent me, you created. Did you create this? Did you make it?
No,
No.
no, I picked it up from
Beautiful.
cyberspace.
Cyberspace. And
Yeah.
yeah, what do you believe about the adage that as above, so below, as you are within, so without, that our connectedness and loneliness is, always a reflection of part of ourselves? That, I mean, I love how you said, make completions complete. Is, what do you think your life's lesson was about in this life, in this past life that you've now lived? What was the major theme that your soul wanted to get? For example, do you have a sense for that?
Detachment,
Okay.
forgiveness,
Okay.
forgiveness, and detachment, to not hold on to the physical material realm or to people or to places. And that's why I have been traveling since I was 30 years old. I have been traveling, I've been moving on. I have
Right.
not held on to places or people. And that's the same journey I'm on right now, to finally let go of that might be the most difficult for most people, is our body and everything that is connected to our body, relationship, our things, whatever material we need to
Yeah.
keep our bodies alive. And so that's it's detachment from the earthly realm, from the
And to
physical material
connect
realm.
to connect
So
more strongly to or identify more with the presence of consciousness or spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what do you know what your numerological quintessence number is for your
11.
life? 11?
It's 9.
It's a 9. A humanitarian servant, your teacher, or bring
Yes.
humanitarian
Yeah.
evolution. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm a
Interesting.
Virgo. My son
Okay.
is in Virgo, so service has of course been one of my paths and one of my gifts as well as one of my
Right.
lessons.
Right. Which is also, taking good care of the physical. It's not being detached from the physical doesn't mean you don't give it your best. It just means you're not narrow-minded. You're seeing the broader picture first and then care for the physical, which is what you're doing so exemplary, taking care of the ending phase as well, where many people, and which is why I'm doing this interview, many people push it away, don't want to think about it. They barely want to think about their will. And truthfully, I like the sentence that we have at our retreat center in Shambhala, and one of the sayings is like, how well have you loved and how well did you let go? Have you, what have you given? What have you learned? How well did you love and how well did you let go? And in the ending, we also are measuring our beauty, perfection. I was so inspired. I thought, oh my God, I live in Bali. Who's going to come to my funeral? I mean, yes, my staff, but beyond that, my friends are all over the world, my family. Who's going to have time or money to come to be at my graveside or my funeral, my fire ceremony? And I got a little depressed about it, And then I spoke to a farmer in Germany who has also been a pastor and a healer and a spiritual man, but, very much a farmer. And he said, you know what? You just focus on where you are. You're not looking back when you die. You look forward. I am sure many people, including my mom when she died, I could see her literally hanging there in midair. And even 10 years later, she came into my dream and said, I am coming back. This is the day I'm incarnating. And then 6 months later, a close friend of hers, called me up and said, I think I got your mom. And I said, what date was she born on? And it's like the same date I had written in my diary that I had my dream where she said, I'm coming back. So, yes, we're looking forward, but what did you think about that I asked you earlier, the ceremony, or how would you like for others to participate? Do you believe in people praying for and with you as you transition, as the Tibetans do, for 49 days? In one of our albums, we created songs to accompany people in that 49-day process. Even in Bavaria, they did prayers for 40 days. Do you feel that is important or necessary?
I would love I would love for somebody or somebodies to pray for me, just like the Tibetan does. I do have a Tibetan healer that lives in Sweden here that I invited when one of my girlfriend transitioned, but he was here for an afternoon to do a special departure ceremony.
Ceremony?
But I would love, so you are welcome. You're welcome if you want to chant
Yeah.
when I
Well,
leave my body.
yeah. I mean, that is
Really.
something
And
maybe we could all anticipate and bring into our coaching world, maybe into our
yes,
services,
yes,
this presence for others as they pass on. It's like,
yes,
remember, keep going towards the light. Don't get distracted, right?
right. That's right. It's totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So would you be willing to start a 40-day prayer? I mean, wherever you are, it doesn't have to be sitting by my body for 40 days, but
Right.
wherever you are,
Well,
would you
this
be
is
willing to do that?
Well, I could do that. I would do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is
I,
a very, very important piece
yes.
you are giving me right now, Iona. This
Yeah.
is one of the because none of the people here in Sweden
Yeah.
that I'm connected with, we have a yoga group of women, but is on the level that I'm talking about. If I start to talk about Tibetan prayer ceremony, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But
Right.
you know what I'm talking about. You are addressing it. So
Yes.
please, this would be a very wonderful, wonderful gift.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
you will know when I will be leaving. I will be,
Well,
of course, contacting you.
somebody needs to have access to your Facebook account. These are all
Yes,
things we all need to think
yes,
about, you know?
yes,
Who
yes,
can get
exactly.
access to your social media to inform your
Yes,
friends? Or maybe you
yes.
leave a list and say, please email all these people, you
No,
know?
I already have talked with somebody about my Facebook account.
Count.
You
Uh-huh.
know, you can have a memory. Once you leave your body, you can somebody will send it out on on my
Behalf.
Facebook account.
But they
But
have
you
to
will
get
get a
in.
special
They have to
message
get
before that.
right, but they have to get in. Okay,
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
that. That is
yeah.
amazing. And see, all of us. Well, this is something I want to invite us. I mean, there are many questions we can and cannot answer. For example, where will soul go? What does the divine world say for self-chosen departure? When people do it early in their life, prematurely, as suicide, then we all feel it's negative. We all know,
Yeah.
like, they shouldn't
Yeah.
have gone. They
Yeah.
should have
That's right.
tried. People
Yes.
who have told us, even near death experiences, you know, they're told, no, it's not your time, go back. You know, like, no, you like it? Yes, heaven is nice, but no, 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 you've got to finish your business, whatever you came to do, to learn, to give. So, but you are coming to what would appear soon to be a natural time of the end of life. It's not,
Yes.
you know, you're not
Yes.
prematurely leaving. And that is a question we need to ask ourselves. As we have a very aging population, I am sure in the future more people will want to hear and need to hear what you just said, feel the comfort that it's not shameful, that maybe it is with dignity and respect and not too early. But that's the question. When do you choose? You know, what is your deciding factor? You know, because some people, you know, there is I mean, you are very clear. I mean, you're doing a Zoom call, you know all the technicalities. People may have to face decline of mental abilities when they cannot even make a choice anymore. All those things come up. When do you feel and how do you get the sense? How do you do in your daily life? How do you get the feeling of, I need to do this now? How do you do that?
Do what? What are you
How do you
referring to?
get how do you get your sense of do it now, whatever the do it now is? Like, I write in my books about dolphin communication, for example, and one of the stories that remember is so clear because I'm in the water, and we had a dolphin watch boat in Florida, and I could not see any dolphins far and wide. But nevertheless, I was in the water going, come closer, please. And suddenly a voice says, dive now. And I'm not really, anyways, I did what it said. My inner voice said, dive now. There was no dolphin in sight, no fluke, no sound, nothing. I dove down, swam forward, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a dolphin comes towards me. It's that divine guidance I'm talking about. How,
Well, I have that every day. I
yes,
have
that's it.
every day. I
Yes.
have like a sense of when I wake up, and I go through a routine for waking up every morning. It's breathing, it's chanting, it's Facebooking, it's you know, as before, and then I start my physical body, waking it up through yoga and meditate and so forth. So anyway, so I get this very clear sense. Okay, how do I want to spend my day today?
Beautiful. Yes.
What is kind of on the list of what I want to do today? And
Right.
because I'm free, I have no work.
Right.
I have nobody really needing me because I've liberated myself from those attachments. So I have free space most of the time. So
Yeah.
I'm creating my own life more or less every day. And that comes very clearly. Like today, for example, I started, today I will do some gardening, some things in the garden. I will write a letter to a friend of mine who is in a prison that I needed to do. And then I'm going to take a wonderful walk down to my sacred place by the water here, by the canal, one of my very sacred place. And then I'm going to go tonight to a prayer circle. You know, so things kind of unfold gently every day, and
Yeah.
it's not something I have to do, but it's something that my inner guidance. And today, of course, speaking with you
Yeah.
was on my schedule, or was in my flow. if you want. And I also want to address the timing, why I need my timing to preparing this, leaving my body in
Yeah.
dignity. The war. Sweden is going into a war
Mm.
consciousness, big time here,
Yeah.
and I don't want to. I don't want to live in that. I
Mm.
don't want to leave, and it's going to get worse and worse unless there is some really change, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping through
Mm-hmm.
different Facebook group. But still, so I feel this is a time also for me to leave here. I don't want to continue living in a country that is moving into war.
Right.
That
And
I wrote to you.
timing, what you address is timing, cycles, and
Yes,
listening to inner guidance, a flow
yes.
when things are right. So it's like, that was my question. How do you get that do it now? You know, where do you hear it? Do you see it? Do you feel it? And everybody of us will have a different channel that is your favorite channel to get messages. My favorite way to train it was cooking rice. You know, Freya, back when I was in my 20s, I learned how to listen to that voice of perfect timing by cooking rice. I, I turned on
I love it.
yeah, I brought the rice to boil, and then I put the lid on, turned the fire down to very low, and I knew 40 minutes about is what it took to boil brown rice. But I tried to listen to the now is the rice is ready. You know, there are some people who take off the lid and is it the water boiling yet? You know, and it never boils because you're always taking the heat off. But I would train this part of me, and all of us can pick something to train your intuition with, where then it said, now go to the kitchen, pick up the rice now because it's just about to be too dry, you know, or just perfect. And I got it to perfection. So now, that's something I want to urge all of us in a practical way to train in an everyday situation, to listening to that inner guidance that knows perfect timing, perfect placement. That's what you're addressing by saying you hear, you know this is timing, this should be happening, but you also listen to where you feel moved to, listen to your intuition. That's the part. Thank you for pointing that out of your of what it means to listen to your inner guidance.
Yes, and that I do that with my cooking too.
You do.
Exactly what you were telling. Yes. Uh, Before yesterday, I went into a completely cooking flow where I prepared food for several days, exactly in the same. Now it's right for me and I love cooking. It becomes like a meditation. It becomes like a focus, and the food gets, of course, delicious. And I have a food for a few days. So I also very daily practices. I also follow this intuitive flow because I have space. I have
Right.
open space to
Right.
do it.
Right.
I'm not caught up with a lot of scheduling. So yes, that's how I live
Awesome.
by intuition.
I
Yeah.
mean, essentially, all of us, wherever we are in our life, and that's what I want to encourage us. And you, the viewer, I want to encourage you to go train your intuition, your mind. It will take quiet, nature, meditation time, and the ability not just to flatline the brain waves down, which is the beginning, but to raise them back up into a focused singularity. And one of my favorite meditations, and I will leave a link for you down below that everybody can get it, is a tantric meditation which the Tantra Buddhists passed, but Tantra not in the worst concept of sex, but concept of union. Union of
Right. But
two
that's a
into
tantra that I'm practicing. Yes.
right.
Okay.
The tantra of two into one. So in this case, I'm inviting you on a journey with an angel or a dolphin. I'm doing a dolphin guided meditation, and you merge with another entity of consciousness into singularity. And all people describe that they start spiraling and then go kaboom into another dimension of singularity, of unity consciousness. And when we practice that, we develop a sense, here is me, there is your presence, and here is the great oneness. And it's a continuation from there on up. However, that's for free if you go listen to this talk and want to train your intuition. But do you have a technique that you can share with us that you like to do for training your intuition, or how in your life, or how did you teach?
I do it through singing, chanting, dancing, silence,
Yes.
walking
So it's
in
wave like,
nature.
yes,
Yeah, it's a flow,
it's a flow.
which I do every day, some of it, you know. Yeah,
Right.
it's
I,
silent.
you hit on a good point. I think in quantum physics, they describe it as particle and wave aspect of the photon.
Yes,
And we
I'm
call it,
familiar.
yeah. And so we as humans are oftentimes in the Western world very particle focused. And the Asian world, or spirituality in general, and what we're aiming to teach is wave consciousness. So where a wave is here and here and here simultaneously. So when we become the wave aspect of light, we enter another dimensional expression of light itself from this individuation into the whole. And it's being on both sides, being yourself and being the whole, or then increasingly finer whole, greater whole. That is the dance of life. And I think your expression of consciously leaving the particle and identifying with the wave as this is where I go. I'm not dying. I'm just leaving the final physical identity behind, right? That is the inspiration that I get from you. And I want to know exactly, yeah, how do you and when do you say today's the day? I am looking forward to you sharing that process with us.
And also, it was just coming to me right now as you were talking. Maybe you want to come and be part of my departure here in Sweden when that time comes, together with Dawn. I
Well,
have big enough place. You can stay
yes.
as my guest.
You're so sweet. It is likely not to happen because I honestly, I already have to. My husband is 71, so we're like going, how many places can we travel still already? And how many times do I visit my family, my grandnieces and nephews, and on and on. And it's like, oh my God, I think I just want to be in the mountains and go hiking, you know? So I am not going to commit to that. But meditating alongside with your spiritual departure, I will. But I think it is a nice thing to consider. How do we want that ceremony, the people, the energy? How? And what I am suggesting, I just recently am seeing that businesses are cropping up everywhere, to have a predetermined, maybe online ceremony for not only the ones who are physically next to you, but who co-join at that time, wherever that is that you decide, or whoever arranges things for you, can join into a memorial moment online.
Yes, you're welcome to come and direct it.
Yes, right. I should
A
make a new
moment of
business.
memorial. I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea. I would love
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I would love to show, I would love to demonstrate for people how to design a beautiful death consciously
Right.
instead of, just letting, and most people don't. So I
Yeah.
think that would be one of the most important lessons of our time,
And maybe you can
really.
start a YouTube channel. You know that? You could have small, or, small, what are shorts, doesn't have to be complex. Just monthly or weekly or whatever updates, thoughts, inspirations that you share. Maybe people come and get nuggets from that. I mean, these are ideas for all of us to consider. How do we create the ending? Do we have a greater friendship circle that is abroad, or a spiritual circle that may not be physically in the same town as I live or I have my funeral? And integrating that, because in the past it used to be all your neighbors and friends in your town. Now, who lives in the same town that they were
Right.
born in?
I
Nobody.
know.
Yeah.
Most of my spiritual friends are in different places around the world.
Right.
Yes, like
Yes.
us
Like
right
I am.
now.
Yes.
Yes, like
And
we
yet,
are.
yes, and we
Yes.
text and we write, and yet we stay over the last 30 years in touch. And it's something that, especially our kind of crowd, really that has, a friendship circle that understands these things, that don't live next door necessarily? How do they participate and share with each other? I think for whoever is watching it, you may be inspired to create such a venue for your friends or your family, for yourself, and or some of you may even develop it as a calling, a vocation, offering these services online. I really appreciate, Freya, what you've done for us, what you do for humanity, talking so openly. I'm going to be part of a panel here at the Rola Film Festival, the Ray of Light Film Festival, which came into being because the woman who was left behind by her husband, he was a Hollywood star working and being a Schauspieler for the Star Wars, was left behind with 3 children and now feels his spirit guiding her life and calls, his name was Ray. So now this film festival is the Ray of Life. And one of the panel discussions is along the theme of the day, which is entering from particle consciousness into wave consciousness. My husband is in a film called Frequency, The Secret of Everything, by Kaya Roman and Zapier. And we are going to show that film and then have a panel with answers and questions about death and dying and transition while we are alive. And who was it? One of the Christians that said, I die daily, right? I move out of body into higher states and practice that process. Anyhow, I will be on that panel, and in view of that, I will also link to the Rola Film Festival. You can sign up there and then get the recording of our panel where we discuss various aspects. I am a person who promotes pure consciousness training without any substances. I never got drunk in my life. I don't drink any alcohol, no substances whatsoever. I don't smoke. I don't eat garlic. I am purely into training everything without crutches. Because when we die, even though, yes, in your case, you may use a substance to let the body calm down and die, whatever, the consciousness cannot have crutches anymore. It has to be strong and know how to do this process of coalescing, of moving on, and not being tempted, like the Tibetans describe, left and right, the seductions of the subconscious pulling us. You have to have lived out your dreams and know where you're going and have God or whatever the divine is for you as your primary goal. Yes. Anyways, a long ending here.
So before you're ending, I would like you to keep that image of my next life.
Okay. Where would you that be?
Yes. And hold that as a living from vision. My next
beautiful.
Life.
Yeah. So you would like me to hold that picture in my mind, and I'm going to try.
But also share it on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Yes, I will. I will put this in this picture in with a Facebook post about our interview. How about that?
That's right. And also when I have left my body, for the prayer to keep visualizing that this is the straight path to my next life.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And I think we are never alone, although we say we're born alone and die alone. Truly, we are not. We come out of a tremendous amount of support. We have guides around us.
Well, there you have the circle.
Yes.
That is my support.
Yes.
Can I just finish with a song?
Yes, please do that.
May the blessings of Goddess rest upon you. May her peace abide with you. May her presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Freya. I hope everybody got inspired by your courage to speak so openly and so many aspects that we got inspired to think about, all in regards to death and dying. It's not just one point, it's so many points. I love you. I thank you.
Inspired by us.
Yes.
Inspired by us.
Yes.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Freya.